¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kan du norsk?
If you've had that sound from Babbel before, I bet you do. Babbel is the science-backed language learning app that actually works. With quick 10-minute lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts, Babbel gets you on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. With over 16 million subscriptions sold and a 20-day money-back guarantee, just start speaking another language with Babbel. Right now, up to 55% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/Spotify podcast. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify podcast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Support comes from ServiceNow. We're for people doing the fulfilling work they actually want to do. That's why this ad was written and read by a real person and not AI. You know what people don't want to do? Boring, busy work. Now with AI agents built into the ServiceNow platform, you can automate millions of repetitive tasks in every corner of your business, IT, HR, and more, so your people can focus on the work that they want to do. That's putting AI agents to work for people. It's your turn. Visit servicenow.com.
This episode is brought to you by Rakuten. If you're shopping while working, eating, or even listening to this podcast, then you know and love the thrill of the hunt. But are you getting the thrill of the best deals? Rakuten shoppers do. They get the brands they love with the most savings and cash back. And you can get it too. Start getting cash back at your favorite stores like Samsung, Expedia, and Sephora. And even stack sales on top of cash back. It's easy to use, and you get your cash back through PayPal or check. The idea is simple. Stores pay Rakuten for sending them shoppers, and Rakuten shares the money with you as cash back. Download the free Rakuten app and never miss a deal. Or go to Rakuten.com to start getting the most bang for your buck. That's RAKUTEN.
Oh my God, it's the coolest thing ever. Hey guys, have you heard of Goldbelly? Well, check this out. It's this amazing site where they ship the most iconic famous foods from restaurants across the country anywhere nationwide. I've never found a more perfect gift than food. They ship Chicago deep dish pizza, New York bagels, Maine lobster rolls, and even Ina Garten's famous cakes. Seriously. So if you're looking for a gift for the food lover in your life, head to goldbelly.com and get 20% off your first order with promo code GIFT.
Just start the show while I'm personally grooming.
I did.
Have you no decency? Do you not care about our online appearances?
I do.
Yeah, you need to care. Stephen A. Smith just got 100 million. He wears makeup and he is meticulously groomed on the set. Okay, don't come on my set anymore without a suit.
So I'm to believe that you got your makeup done already?
Yes, I'm doing it right now.
All right, Q, you've shown up very beautiful today, very
thank you.
Intact.
At least one of us is.
Yeah. Other than you showing up looking like a star. They're saying the Bears are the offseason stars for once again.
Third
again
straight
in this we all prefer that it's showing up in the regular season than in the just showing up in March and April. But with that, how excited are you? Graded from this offseason banner versus the other two.
Man. See, last year I was excited, but a little bit, just a slight melancholy, because a lot of the fan base liked Justin Fields and pulled for him, but it was still exciting. We all knew Caleb Williams was extremely talented, one of the best quarterback prospects to come out in the last, decade. Rome Odunze, another good. So I was really excited last year. This one, I think I might be a little more excited because Caleb Williams is still new. It's his second year. But I'm even more excited because he has a real coach. I knew last year, I know how many episodes we got a show from last season when we asked for Eberflus to be fired. We asked for Ben Johnson 2 years ago. So I think I'm a little bit more excited because I feel like they actually have a plan for their talents, not a idiot we hope doesn't mess up the talent.
That was the first brick to be laid in this latest offseason championship, getting Ben Johnson and him bringing on a star-studded staff that we all have. We're not overselling it, but we have belief that they're all worth their job. They all can handle their business. Dennis Allen's a defensive coordinator. We've seen what he could do in that position. The offensive coordinator, he doesn't really have any pedigree, but Ben Johnson's calling the plays, so it doesn't really matter.
He doesn't have any pedigree, but he sure comes with a lot of kudos from around the league.
Mm-hmm.
Declan Doyle is supposed to be the boy genius, the boy wonder. So apparently he's going to be the next, not next year more than likely, but soon he'll be in one of the coaching cycles as well.
I hope he can put that boy genius to work and grind tape, because that's all I'm looking for him to do. Grind some tape.
Scheme some stuff up. Find the weaknesses in that stinky green and yellow Wisconsin team's defense and exploit them like the horse they are and should have been exploited many years ago. We owe the Packers a lot of ass whoopings. And Ben Johnson, I'm glad he's aware that we do. And I hope he delivers.
Bears are 1-0 in the last one game against Green Bay Packers. If you ask me, they're 2-0 because we won that game. We won both games last year.
Pinning that loss on Eberflus.
I give it to the inside of that line, but neither here nor there.
That too. And they're gone. Thank God.
Yeah. And let's talk about that. We've upgraded a lot of the fat boys. Let's start off right there. All interior linemen have been upgraded. We got Drew Dahlman, the guy that I said we had to get this offseason. The center, the fourth rated center in the NFL last year, was a starter for the Atlanta Falcons for the last 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was a former fourth-round pick. We traded for Joe Thuney from the Kansas City Chiefs. We traded for Joe Thuney, who was a four-time champion, four-time All-Pro, and we traded for Jonah Jackson for a sixth-round draft pick, who was a Pro Bowler under Ben Johnson when he played for the Lions. Q. Not only do I want to ask, like, how do you like those additions, but which one of those additions do you see paying off the most?
Between Dahlman and Thuney, man, Thuney is going to pay off not just on the field, but in the classroom and in locker room leadership. The addition of Joe Thuney really excites me because this is a guy who started off blocking for Tom Brady, then was protecting Caleb Williams. Then was protecting Pat Mahomes. Now it's protecting Caleb Williams. So he's protected the best quarterback in the business for the last decade. Hopefully that continues. But he's also not just played football well into January. He's played it well into February. He's been to multiple Super Bowls with both the Patriots and the Chiefs. And he's still playing at an all-pro level. Drew Dahlman I think he's 26, 25. So he's a young guy, athletic center, played a lot of good football, a lot of experience at center. And he comes here to enjoy the prime of his career. So I'm really excited about those two moves. I can't measure which one I'm more excited about. Maybe Thuney, because he's an all-pro. And just with the experience and where he's gone in his career. And then not to undermine Jonah Jackson, but I'm excited about him too. That's a big guy who's a mauler in the run game, has experience in this system, played a lot of good football. Last year got hurt, so I'm not going to hold that against him. It was playing out of position. But this might be the best interior line we've had maybe since the Lovey days when they had Reuben Brown and Olin Kreutz in there going to Pro Bowls and going to Super Bowls and winning back-to-back division titles.
What I'm thinking is, out of those three, I think Drew Dahlman is my number one guy because the Bears needed a center, like badly, and now we have a Pro Bowler, Pro Bowl level center, in addition to Joe Thuney, who is a professional, right? You know, he's been there, done that. Well, two teams taking him to the Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Chiefs.
Deep into February. Now, you like guys that have played deep into January. He's played deep into February multiple times. So yeah, that's awesome.
That's exactly what it is. Those two guys together, them by themselves it improves the five. I expect Jonah Jackson, to be an improvement because he has Drew Dalman and Tooney next to him. I expect Braxton Jones, if he is the day one starter, and I expect Darnell Wright to take another leap forward just because he has that professionalism and that skill set in that room with him. All of this is an improvement for the Bears linemen.
I want to say one thing about Tooney and Dalman when doing research on them. These are not only just good players, they are high IQ guys. Some of the stunts and the blitzes, which confused the Bears front in recent years, we're not going to have that no more. We got guys that know when to chip, can recognize different fronts, recognize when defenses are stunting. So, I mean, it's just not, like I said, it's just not on the field. It's in the classroom. It's in the learning. It's in the teaching, showing guys like Darnell Wright how to recognize things when the defense are tipping or tailing and how to recognize tendencies. So it's another great thing.
And that goes right back to that P word, professionalism. 5 Ps, you know what they are. And I expect
preparation prevents poor performance.
I expect the Bears to be very, very prepared going into this season, more so than the slip and slide nonsense we had going on last year. So last year, speaking of, I was very, very staunch in saying that I don't like how the Bears were not addressing either side of the defensive line. I mean, either side of the line, the offense or the defensive line. They got all these hood ornaments. I used that term a lot last season. They got Keenan Allen, they got DeAndre Swift. Not one hood ornament so far.
Kevin Byard.
Yes.
Kevin Byard too.
Not one hood ornament. They went down and got in underneath the hood, got into the guts of this thing. Let's go to defensive line, defensive side of the football. Grady Jackson. Now you were very high on this guy.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Grady Jarrett is a guy with a high motor, has played high level of football for years, is very strong against the run, very disruptive. And more importantly, I watched him against the Packers, and he's giving them all sorts of fits when he's played them. There's a clip where he's calling Jordan Love a female dog, and I enjoyed it. He already comes here with a healthy dislike of Jordan Love. That is a winner in my book. But no, Grady Jarrett is a guy who, back to professional, played lots of good football for the Falcons when they've been playoff teams. Even when they've been out the playoffs in recent years, he's a guy that doesn't take plays off. He's physical at the point. He's disruptive. He's exactly what we needed at the line of scrimmage. We need men at the line of scrimmage. We need men in them trenches. Grady Jarrett is a man in the trenches, and he's versatile. Like, even though he's only 290, which is kind of undersized for a defensive tackle these days, I've seen him in the Falcon scheme play the nose. Like, he's a guy that is the focal point of their run defense, and he's versatile enough to play the 3 technique. So yeah, I love the Grady Jarrett move. Bring experience, bring physicality, and that's what we've needed. The physicality, that's what he brings.
That's what I want to come to, the versatility, because we would probably need that going into this season, because I don't know if Billings is going to come back. I don't expect, and if it is, I don't expect anything, substantial from him. Same thing with Javon Dexter.
Yeah.
I don't really know where it's going with those 2 guys.
Billings is a guy who has been an NFL journeyman, been a rotational guy, and he had a very good 2023. There's no denying that. The film shows it. And the Bears' run defense was very good. Before he got hurt, I know people say, he's coming back and that will help the run defense. Before he got hurt this past season, the Bears' run defense wasn't very good with him on the field. I don't know if he regressed back to the means of what he's been throughout his career, but I can't expect Cody Billings to replicate what he did in 23 because it's kind of an anomaly for him. So, 2024, before he got hurt, he was very average then, maybe below average. The whole defense was bad with their run fits. I don't know what happened from becoming a top, 1 or 2 ranked in rush defense to falling off to a bottom 5 run defense. But yeah, I agree with you. I can't trust Cody Billings to be any more than a rotational piece for 2025.
Yeah, we're gonna need that. I would expect Grady Jarrett to be our three technique for the most part this coming season. The guy that I think has the biggest question mark, that I think there's the most high risk, high reward with, would be the other guy that Brian Poles signed. I'm Video.
Yeah. I didn't know much about him with the Colts. I mean, you see guys on Sunday, but Colts football wasn't something that I watched weekly. So I had known a little bit about him, but I wasn't familiar with him. But he is a Dennis Allen guy. For what I see after doing a little bit of research on him after the signing, he's a big physical guy, and he has position versatility too. I think he's 280, 285. That's big for edge. So what I've seen from him is he's violent at the point of attack. He's physical. He's gonna hold the edge. The sack numbers don't pop out. I think he had 8 2 years ago and 3.5 last year. But he was a guy that was getting pressures. Now, he wasn't finishing. Now, some guys, I'm not saying those pressures are going to automatically translate to a 10-sack season, because some guys can get pressure, but they don't have that extra step, that giddy up to close out and get sacks. But he's another guy that's going to bring physicality to our defensive line. And let's be honest, our defensive line was missing physicality last year. It was too often that you saw interior linemen getting up to that second level. And too often you saw from both sides of the ball, our linemen laying on their asses. I got so sick of seeing our defensive linemen on their backsides, or getting washed out of the play. I'm not even going to butcher his name right now, but we'll get the pronunciation right. But he's a guy that is going to change that. He also has versatility. He could kick inside. He's big enough. So on passing downs, you could see him inside. So he's a bigger, more physical version of DeMarcus Walker. Hopefully I think he's a better player, but he's a guy that also has a little bit of untapped potential. So you're paying a little bit for the upside of him. Hopefully if it pans out, he's a guy that can give you 8-9 sacks and continue to keep up his ability to support the run.
Out of the 5 players we did get, and we all think those are great additions. Is there somebody that we missed out on that you think that we should have, that you would have really wished that we got?
Well, it wasn't a great free agent class, but unfortunately, the Vikings went and got a guy.
Will Freeze.
I do, huh?
Will Freeze.
Freeze is one guy. But Javon Hargrave. I think he's played very good football on 2 contending teams in the past few years. Not that I'm not happy with Grady Jarrett. Maybe it's more that I hate that Javon Hargrave is a Viking, and they added Jonathan Allen too. I don't know how much Jonathan Allen has. He was kind of beat up last year on the road, but again, he's a guy that's played lots of good football. So I don't want him going to Minnesota, and I really don't want him pairing with Javon Hargrave. I don't like them bolstering their defensive line already, because their defense was already strong last year, particularly front seven. So maybe Hargrave. Other than that, there's not too many guys that were in free agency that I was like, we missed out on. I mean, Dahlman was the jewel of free agency to me. I guess I wouldn't have minded Chase Young. But he's got guys that's been so up and down.
Tomato.
Let me finish. I wouldn't have minded Chase Young if he was coming on a 1-year prove-it deal. Now, I see New Orleans gave him 3-year, $54 million. I would not have liked that.
Crazy.
But, yeah, I wouldn't have minded Chase Young coming on a 1-year prove-it deal. But the fact that Dennis Allen had him last year and didn't make him a priority, I think that says a lot.
I think it's just overrated. But here's my thing.
He's always been overrated. I felt that even during that rookie year. I always felt Chase Young was a lot of hype. I think a lot of things in Washington are hype, and I think we'll see that at this time next February.
Yes, we do. We got to run that back with them. I don't understand how New Orleans is able to still pay anybody. For that matter, overpay anybody. They've been $100 million over the cap for like half a decade. I don't get it.
Derek Carr gave him some money back.
Yeah, and the thing about Hargrove, I agree with you there, because I would have liked not necessarily him, but you know, when you find out about a store going out of business or a liquidation sale, you find out about it too late and everybody else has already picked the store clean. That's what happened. That's how it was. Because, like, man, everybody getting something out of San Francisco, but we ain't getting nothing out of them. Like, damn, man, you missed out.
Yeah. You said guys that I would have maybe like. I like that safety that left San Francisco for Denver, Tua Hafalongo, the Samoan. He's a baller.
Yeah.
He's a baller. I would have loved to pair. I would have loved to pair him with Brisker.
Man, hopefully Brisker is able to pair with anybody. But yeah, he's a baller, man.
Hey, Brisker lost Bluetooth connection. Yeah, Brisker, we praying for you, dog, but you lost Bluetooth connection for like 14 weeks. Hey, we need a new router up there because the server was down. Yeah, God, I Brisker's going to be one of those guys next year. Every time I see him fly into the box to hit somebody, I'm going to cringe because he means a lot to the defense. It's almost giving Mike Brown vibes where you know this guy is pivotal for your defense, and you just hope he makes it through the year. I mean, we both have said he's been one of the most exciting DBs we've seen since Mike Brown, and unfortunately, he's living up to everything that we hated about Mike Brown, which is the only thing we hated about Mike Brown was that he couldn't stay healthy. And that's the only thing I don't like about Brisker right now.
Yeah, stay healthy, Brisker. We want to see you get a statue outside of Soldier Field, wherever Soldier Field may be, when your career ends. We both like what the Bears have done. We both agree that the Bears have won the offseason to this point. Now, it's only the beginning. The new league year is barely a week old, right? But the next step in the offseason is the draft. So now,
one of our favorite times of the year.
Why am I bringing up the draft? Because they're intrinsically linked between free agency and between free agency, right?
Yes.
If you handle your business in free agency, your draft plan can be altered.
Yes.
Now, I think we're going to disagree on this part. Do you think the Bears did enough in free agency so that they can draft whomever they want or possibly trade down?
Yes to both. I think the Bears have covered their tails enough where they can draft best player available and they could trade down. I'm rooting for these quarterbacks to show off in their meetings with teams and in their pro days, because the more they show off, it's better for the Bears in either way the Bears go in terms of trading down or staying at 10, because we don't need a quarterback. So if what's his name? Jackson Darks. If Dart can show out and move into the top 10, that's a blue chip position player, lineman or defensive lineman, that moves down to 10. If Jalen Milroe can get people to believe that they can extract that upside, that dual threat, maybe he moves into the top 10. Maybe somebody falls in love with him. I know it seems like a stretch, but we've seen it every year. A guy who was slated towards that in the first round, maybe second round, somebody falls in love with, he moves in the top 10. Michael Penix at 8 came out of nowhere last year. Remember, Michael Penix was a projected guy for the second round. So I hope Dart or Milroe can move into that top 10. That helps us because either we get a haul for that 10 spot or there's another available position player for us that slides to 10. So that's what I hope.
I don't want the Bears to trade back whatsoever.
What if they traded? Let me ask you a question. Now, Pittsburgh doesn't have a quarterback yet. I think Pittsburgh picks 18, 17. What if Pittsburgh offers you a future first-round pick, something like Justin got when we moved up 11 spots to 10 to take Justin? What if Pittsburgh's offering you next year's first and a third? I think we traded 2 firsts and a third and a fifth. What if Pittsburgh offers something like that? A future first, a third this year, and a fifth next year.
All right, so let me recant what I said. remember the Bears traded up from number 20 to number 11 to get Justin. I think that was for the New York Giants, right?
Yeah, that was the New York Giants.
If we were to get a package similar to what we gave the Giants to move up, I would be okay. And I would only be okay if it came from Pittsburgh because they owe us. I would only be okay if it came from Pittsburgh. But here's the thing, because not me trolling them or anything like that, but let's say we getting close to the 10th pick, and Banks, Campbell, and what's the other guy? What's the other offensive lineman?
Mimbo. I like him.
They're all gone. But Jonty's still there. I want to trade back. I want to trade back to the point where we can get Josh Simmons.
Do we get who?
Josh Simmons.
Oh, you like Josh Simmons?
See, here's the thing. No, not necessarily. I like him, but for one, like we said in the last episode, I think he's got the best tape out of all the offensive, all the premier offensive.
And he'd probably be number one if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, and here's another thing, and here to link it back with free agency. Grady Jarrett is 32. His best football days are not in front of him. Joe Tooney, 32. Same thing with Keenan Allen. The same issues I had with us trading for Keenan Allen last year are the same I have for this one. Now, this is a need, so I'm not going to bitch about it. But when you go acquire 32-year-olds for your team, that starts the clock for win now. I don't believe the Bears can forego getting a young staple in this draft at the top of this draft just because they have they upgraded at both at the interior of the line and on the defensive line. Just because they did that does not mean they can forego that. They still need to get a guy. They need more dudes on this line and more personally young dudes.
Where do you think they need a dude more? Offensive line or defensive line right now?
I would say offensive line. I would still say offensive line because we still have those two bookends, Darnell Wright and Braxton Jones. I'm already certain that Braxton is not a dude. That's a guy. I'm about
I give you that.
I'm an inner thigh hair short from saying the same thing about Darnell. So
Darnell is very close to being just another guy. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that with this draft in particular, there's a couple of dudes out there and they're on the offensive line. And there may be, if the right package presents itself, we might be able to get a dude on the defensive line instead of the offensive line. Your boy Pierce, your boy Green, they might be there as well. But as of right now, before sight unseen, before we go into the draft, we see how teams are moving and shaking. I would not be concerned with trading down. I'll be concerned with getting what we can at the number 10 spot and building our team up. Now, again, to your point, crazy things happen draft night. That Thursday night is crazy.
Teams get desperate.
Yeah, they do. Teams get desperate, and you might get a crazy offer from Pittsburgh, to which I can't turn down because they owe us. They owe us more than just 2 picks. The
reason why. All aside from you trolling your homies with Pittsburgh, and I'm not trying to insult them, but a team like Pittsburgh would be the team you would want to trade with because, and I've said this before, and I'll be honest, they've made me look like a fool the last 3-4 years, but that bottom is going to fall out. Pittsburgh Steelers fans, look at your bottom. It's going to fall out. You're not going to keep eking into the playoffs. In fact, I would venture to say at this point, you want to stop eking into the playoffs because you're not beating I've said this the last few years, and this has not been proven wrong. You're not contending, or you get rid of the illusion that you're competing with the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills, because you're not. You're not competing with them. You might not even be competing with the Broncos, Chargers, and Texans. You all need a franchise quarterback. You all need some elite talent. It's time for you all to be in the top 5 of the draft. And the thing about Pittsburgh is, yes, they have a strong defense still, but with that quarterback situation being in flux, I don't care about DK Metcalf and George Pickens being on opposite sides of each other. They can both crash out at any given time. I mean, they're Antonio Brown Juniors. So trading with Pittsburgh and trading and getting their future first could end up possibly harvesting in a top 5 pick for 2026.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think what Pittsburgh got shaken right now is a 10-win team. I think this might be, as of right now, on paper, this is a 7-win team at best, and I'm giving them 7 wins.
And you're back. So the Steelers are now at the mercy of Aaron Rodgers. That's some place you don't want to be. So he's holding up plans for about 2 or 3 teams this offseason while he decides. We're in day 4 of free agency. Dude, what are you doing? Pick a team. There's nothing that's going to change now in between Thursday, Friday. And if the Steelers do get Aaron Rodgers, we saw what he did with the Jets the last 2 years. And yes, I understand he got hurt. But a lot of the personnel moves that they made were due to him.
Not only that, Q. We saw what he did with the Jets, and it was underwhelming. We saw what he did to the locker room. Blew it the fuck up, right? He blew it up like a fat man. He blew it up like a fat man at Pepe's all you can eat night, and he went in the bathroom and destroyed the bathroom. That's exactly.
I actually have a horror story about that, but you reminded me that it was actually Golden Corral. It was a big man getting played off the plate, and he beat me to the bathroom. And when I say the stall was unusable, he shitted everywhere except inside the toilet.
Oh God, that's a horror film.
Yeah, exploding ass.
But you know what else we saw, Q?
What's that?
Speaking of shit all over the floor. You know what else we saw? We saw Brett Favre leave the Packers and go to New York. We saw Brett Favre spend 2 underwhelming seasons in New York and then come back to the Midwest. Yeah. And we saw Brett Favre have his career ended when he had to see the Bears again, when he came back to the Midwest. Yeah. Yes. And here's the thing. The Bears were on the way up at that point, and the Packers were on the way down. And guess what else? And here's the last thing. If he chooses the Vikings, that's 2 times a year he's on the Bears schedule.
Please do.
And if he chooses the Steelers, who do we play this season? We play the
Steelers. And the Steelers also play the Jets. Now, I don't really go around rooting for other teams, but I would love to see Justin Fields kick Aaron Rodgers' ass if Aaron Rodgers is in Pittsburgh. I just want the Bears to get their chance to kick Aaron Rodgers' ass.
Oh, no. It was written, Q. It was written. It was written. Just like Nas said, it was written. Corey Woolton, he ended Brett Favre's career.
He's forever Bears legend for that.
And you know what else? Some low lane Javon Dexter maybe, or maybe even Billings, somebody like that. They're gonna knock Aaron Rodgers' dick in the dirt and in his career. What we see him this season.
I hope so.
It was like I said, I've been saying it all week.
That would be poetic. Please, Vikings, sign Aaron Rodgers. Please let him come to the Vikings and let that fan base get excited and let them get let down. The great thing about this year is I love Ben Johnson and come in modest. He came in guns blazing, talking shit about the Packers, talking about the Lions, and Lions fans are livid. Have you seen with their podcast how they depict Ben Johnson? It is hilarious. It has been one of my favorite things to do the offseason is watch Lions podcast and the crash out when Ben Johnson left. See, this is why Detroit does not have nice things. They don't deserve it.
No, they don't. It just used to be. They just got now used to being good after being terrible in all sports, and now they acting all brand new. Like, okay, relax 3 weeks.
Yeah, chill out, because we all know Cade Cunningham is going to end up a Laker in 2 years. So just stop.
He ain't gonna be a Laker.
Man, the Lakers get what they want. We can't even hate on it. If you got a superstar, just understand if he ends up ascending to top 5 status, top 10 status of the league, the Lakers are probably gonna get their grubby hands on him. Man, all my life, listen. As a kid, they got Shaq. They went and got Kobe for Vlade Divac, which is crazy. They would got Paul Gasol. They got LeBron. Now they got I forgot Anthony Davis. Now they got Luka. So our fan questions from Brandon Casey, one of our loyal listeners to actually all of our frustrated sports umbrellas, football, basketball. He asked, should the Bears upgrade at running back this position? I'll let you go with your answer first.
Yes, I'm going to answer the question as it was stated. The Bears should upgrade the running back position. How they upgrade is the point of contention for me. Nothing on Thursday, nothing on day one of the draft. I do not, absolutely not. Again, I'll go back to what we said, talked about in the previous segment. We need dudes. We need dudes that will be around for 8+ years. Running backs don't last that long on the team that drafts them, right? Typically they don't.
Yeah.
Now you might have some dudes in this draft, but I think there's enough dudes in this draft that we can get maybe in one of those 2 picks in the top of the second. What about you?
You're gonna be mad at me. Don't bite my head off. I think the Bears are a real player for Ashton Johnson at 10.
They are, but they better not be. But they better not do it.
Listen, depending on how the draft board falls, if Campbell Banks, Membu were gone, and Abdul Carter's probably going to be gone too. Well, he is, and Mason Graham's probably going to be gone. I love Mason Graham. He's probably going to be gone though. I wouldn't be too mad at Ashton Johnson at 10. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I wouldn't be too mad. He is ultra productive, and he probably in that top 10, he may have the highest floor of the guys, the blue chip guys going in that top 10. He may have the highest floor, and I think he brings some star power and energizes that locker room and that team. And Ben Johnson wants to run the ball. I don't think it's if we upgrade the running back position in draft, I think it's when. And I actually disagreed with you earlier in the week when you said there's 3 or 4 running backs that could be going in the first round. Looking at the first round and teams like the Steelers, Mike Tomlin, the head coach, we've seen the Steelers draft running backs in the first round before with Najee Harris. We know they like to run the ball and they value the running back. They play old school brand of football. They like to run the ball. They like to play defense. Jim Harbaugh is back in the NFL. And did they bring back I know they let go. Is Dobbins back?
I don't think they brought back Dobbins.
Okay, I know Gus Edwards left. So I don't know what they got left in their roster. Kamani Vidal. I think they signed somebody. But the running back free agent class there was nobody in there that screamed, I'm a workhorse. I'm a feature back. So we know those 2 teams are there. The Cowboys, Rico Dowdle got away. He was their main guy last year, ran for 1,000 yards. They didn't even attempt to re-sign him. They signed Javonte Williams, who a little bit of a reclamation project, showed some spark early in his Broncos career towards me. Really hasn't done much in the NFL. I'm just glad my team isn't the ones that signed Javonte Williams or Najee Harris. Thank God Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles know what they're doing. I'm grateful for Ben Johnson. I feel like Ryan Poles early in his career would have went for Najee or Javonte Williams. So we got the Cowboys, the Chargers, the Steelers. I can see all 3 of those teams taking a running back. I need to see Jonty, Hampton, Junkins, or Travion Henderson in a Bears jersey. At this point, yeah, I'm going to have to backtrack and I'm going to have to agree with you. I don't know if any of those 4 will make it to 39 or 41. One of them should, but it's no guarantee because if Jonty's gone in the top 10, the Cowboys could trade back or they could trade back into the late first round or ahead of the Bears in the second round to get one of these running backs. There's Caleb Johnson as well. bigger guy. He ran okay for a bigger guy, 4.57. I'm not too concerned about that. But after those 5, my evaluations kind of drop off. I think there's other backs you can get in the draft. Cam Scatterboo, certainly. The kid from Tennessee, the kid from Oregon. But I think to excel for Ben Johnson's offense, I think you need a better running back than DeAndre Swift. And there's about 5 or 6 guys I'm confident are better. But I got to agree with what you said earlier. This might not be the typical drafts where the best running back, well, we know the best running back isn't going to make it to the second round like we've seen in the past drafts. But I don't know if the second best, the third, or the fourth best makes it back to even 39. So, yeah, I'm kind of torn. I'm with you in one aspect that running back at number 10 is high, but we've seen Ben Johnson go running back at 14, and we know he wants to run the ball. And I think there's no better player in this draft besides maybe Omarion Hampton that can run the ball 20 times a game and be effective than Ashton Johnson.
The good thing about running backs is that we can, if we don't do it this year, you can do it next year. I mean, it's no big deal. I will be okay with upgrading the running back position in the 3rd round. Whoever's there, I think whoever's there is at least as good as Roschon, maybe even better. So I'll
got to be better than Roschon. Roschon, I was not impressed with the way he ran last year. After he came back from the concussion, he was tentative. He didn't have that same physicality he showed his rookie year. He didn't show a lot of bursts. He didn't show any vision and ability to find the hole. So I don't know if Roschon is a guy you see on in September on this team. I mean, he's going into his 3rd year. He's a former 5th round pick. He's not Ben Johnson's guy. I wouldn't be so sure Ben Johnson's guy. Roschon Johnson is a guy you see on the roster. And the Bears they were inactive in free agency in the running back room. And Ben Johnson's done everything he said he was going to do thus far. He said, we need to get better in the trenches. And we did that. He also said he's going to run the ball and upgrade that running back room. So it's coming in the draft. We don't know when it's coming, but it's coming in the draft.
That's fine with me. I just don't do it at the end because I don't mess me up like that. I think the schedule drop comes next. Then we have the draft. Then it's voluntary mini camps, right?
It's exciting time.
Exciting time.
We're not going to be let down
in Chicago.
I'm not going to give you all the 10-win prediction yet, but things are looking better. Be optimistic.
There's a lot to be optimistic about in Chicago right now. Not basketball, unless you're talking about the Chicago Sky. But
that draft is coming up soon, isn't it?
Yeah, their draft, the WNBA draft is coming up.
Their strike is coming up soon.
The baseball season about to start. Cubs are, they're over under right now for Cubs 85.
We gotta get the Cubs involved in this network. It's a shame that a historic franchise like this is not being covered. Yet we got people covering the White Sox.
I cover the Cubs. I've
Okay.
only done a couple of episodes, but I've been trying.
You need to get a partner for the Cubs. I'm not saying necessarily it's me. Somebody needs to cover the Cubs with regularity. This might be the team to break our playoff drought first, because of course the Bears are. Anything related to the Ursaday family, Bears, Cubs, they're breaking the playoff drought in Chicago this year.
Bear down.
Bear down. Go Cubs, go.
That's right. Thanks for listening to this latest edition from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Whether you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watching on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And all my homies from Chicago, we say 3 things: bear down, go Cubs, go, and sell the team, Jerry.